Good morning, children. Welcome back to social science class. We are in history lesson 2 from trade to territories. As I already told you, trade means buying and selling of goods, and territory is an area of land under jurisdiction of a ruler or a state. Jurisdiction means the power. Last class we learned the four Mysore War, and in today's class we are going to learn the Anglo-Maratha Wars. Children, there were three Anglo-Maratha War between 1775 to 1818, which was fought during the late 18th century and the beginning of the 19th century between the British and the Marathas. Towards the end of the Maratha power was destroyed and the British supremacy was established. Let's move on to the first Anglo-Maratha War. See the background and causes of the first Anglo-Maratha War. The third Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, who is also known as Nana Sahib, lost the third battle of Panipat on 24th January 1761. He died on 23rd June 1761. The third Peshwa Balaji Bajirao succeeded by his son Madhav Rao. Madhav Rao was able to recover some of the Maratha power and territories which they had lost in the Battle of Panipat. The English were aware of the growing Maratha powers and it made them uneasy. When Madhav Rao died, there was a struggle for power in the Marathas' rule. Madhav Rao's brother Narayana Rao became the Peshwa, but his uncle Raghunath Rao wanted to become the Peshwa for this. He sought the help from the British people and he signed the Treaty of Surat in 1775. The British and the army of Raghunath Rao attacked the Peshwa and won. British Calcutta Council under Warren Hastings annulled the treaty and a new treaty, the Treaty of Purandar, was signed in 1776. Raghunath Rao was given a only pension and Salsette was retained by the British. Salsette is nothing but the island, children. In 1777, Nana Paduvez went against his treaty with the Calcutta Council and granted a port on the west coast of the French. This led the British to advance force towards Pune. There was a battle at Vadgan near Pune in which the Marathas under Mahaji Scindia secured a decisive victory over the English. Decisive is nothing but settling on issue. There was a series of battles at the end of which the Treaty of Salbai was signed in 1782. Next, we'll move on to the results of the First Anglo-Maratha War. The East India Company retained settlement and also obtained a guarantee from the Maratha that they would retake their position in the Deccan from Hyder Ali of Mysore. All territories taken by the British after the Treaty of Purandar were seized back to the Marathas, and Raghunath Rao was to live as their pensioners. The English accepted Mother of Second, who is the son of Narayana Rao, as the Peshwa. Next, we'll move on to the Second Anglo-Maratha War. After Tipu Sultan's Mysore was captured by the British in 1799, the Marathas were the only major Indian power left outside the British domination. British domination means British rule. The Marathas confederated the Peshwas at Pune, Gauhadis at Baroda, Holkars at Indore, Scindias at Gwalior, Bhonjals at Nagpur. There was internal power struggle among themselves, and Bajirao too, who is the son of Raghunath Rao, was instated as the Peshwa after the death of Madhav Rao. In the Battle of Pune in 1802, Yashwant Rao Holkar, the chief of the Holkars of Indore, defeated the Peshwas and the Scindias. Bajirao too sought British protection and signed the Treaty of Basin with them. As per the treaty, he surrendered the treaty to the British and agreed to maintain the British troops there. The Scindias and the Bhonjals did not accept the treaty, and this caused the Second Anglo-Maratha War in central India in 1803. Let's see the results of the Second Anglo-Maratha War. All the Marathas' forces were defeated by the British in these battles. The Scindias signed the Treaty of Surji in 1803, to which the British got territories of Rohtak, Ganga Yamuna Doab, Gurgaon, Delhi Agra region, Broch, parts of Bundelkhand, and Ahmednagar Fort. The Bhonjal signed the Treaty of Deogaon in 1803, as per which the English attacked Cuttack, Balasore, and the area west at the Varda river. Holkar signed the Treaty of Rajkot in 1805, according to which they gave Tong, Bundi, Rampura to the British. As a result of the war, large parts of the central India came under British control. Let's move on to the Third Anglo-Maratha War, which was fought between 1817 to 1880. After the Second Anglo War, the Marathas made one last attempt to rebuild their old prestige, and they wanted to retake all the possession from the English. They were also unhappy with the British interference in the internal matters. The major reason for this war was due to the British conflict with the Pindas. Peshwa Bajirao II forces supported by those of Mudoji II Bhonjal of Nagpur and Malhar Rao Holkar III of Indore rose against the English East India Company. Pleasure and diplomacy convenienced the fourth Marathian under Scindias of Gwalior to remain neutral even though he lost the control of Rajasthan. British victories were swift, resulting in the breakup of the Maratha Emperor and the loss of the Maratha independence. The Peshwa War was defeated in the Battle of Kutki. Several minor battles were fought by the Peshwa forces to prevent its capture. Next, the results of the Third Anglo-Maratha War. The Treaty of Gwalior was signed in 1817 between Sindhi and the British, even though he had not been involved in the war. As per this treaty, the Sindhs gave up the Rajasthan to the British. The Treaty of Mandsaur was signed between the British and the Holkar chief in 1819. In 1818, the Peshwa was surrendered. He was dethroned and pensioned off to a small state Kittur in Kanpur. Most parts of his territory became part of the Mumbai Presidency. His adopted son Nana Sahib became one of the leaders of the revolt of 1857 at Kanpur. The territories annexed from the Pindas became the central provinces under British India. This war led to the end of the Maratha Emperor, and all the Marathian power was surrendered to the British. An obscure descendant of Chhatrapati Shivaji was placed as the ceremonial head of the Maratha Confederacy at Satara. This war was the last major war fought and won by the British, directly or indirectly. The main reason for Maratha losing is due to lack of unity among the Maratha chiefs themselves. These were the three Anglo-Maratha War which took place. Children, now let's read all three results of the Anglo-Maratha Wars. The first Anglo-Maratha War. Raghunath Rao was pensioned off and Madhav Rao too accepted as the Peshwa. That is, after the retirement of Raghunath Rao, Madhav Rao too became the minister. Salsette was given to the British. Salsette is nothing but the island, so it was given back to the British. The Treaty of Salbai established the British influence in Indian politics. It provided the British 20 years of peace with the Marathas. That is, after the British was influenced by the establishment of the Treaty of Salbai, the British and the Marathas were having relationship for 20 years. Next, let's see the Second Anglo-Maratha War's result. The Maratha power was gradually weakened. That is, the Maratha power became weak and the British power was very strong. The English East India Company started becoming the paramount power in India. That is, the British were becoming the superior power in India. Next, the results of the Third Anglo-Maratha War. The Maratha Confederacy was dissolved and Peshwaship was abolished. That is, the Maratha Confederacy was closed down and the ministership came to an end. Most of the territory of Peshwa Bajirao II was annexed and became part of the Bombay Presidency. That is, the territories of Peshwa Bajirao II was taken over and it became part of the Bombay Presidency. The defeat of the Bhonjal and Holkar also resulted in the acquisition of the Maratha kingdoms of Nagpur and Indore by the British. That is, after the defeat of Bhonjal and Holkar, it resulted in the purchase of the Maratha kingdoms of Nagpur and Indore by the British. At last, the Bajirao II, the last Peshwa of Maratha, was given an annual pension of 8 lakh rupees. So finally, Bajirao II, the last Peshwa of Maratha, was given an annual pension of rupees 8 lakh. These were the results of the 3 Anglo-Maratha wars. Children, you can read the Anglo-Maratha wars from your textbook for your better understanding. Thank you and have a great day.